All right, everybody, welcome to today's session of the Lion Strong Show. I am so happy to be here. My name is Lionel Lamarck. For those of you that don't know me by now, you should, but you really should. Anyway, it's really an honor to be here today. I have a interesting reason for wanting to be here and do this show. It's very different than the norm. I normally come in here, I have topics already prepared and things that I want to talk to you about that are really important in helping get you in the direction that you want. But in today, I wanted to actually answer a question that was asked in the Facebook group by a new member. And if you guys haven't been in the group, or if you're not in the group right now, just please find us on Facebook, the Lion Strong group. That's really one that you want to be part of. Lion Strong Pride. Look us up. Anyway, what was interesting is that the question that was brought up was about age and working out. Because I think I posted a video or about one of our clients and what they were doing and the fact that they're much older, because I believe they're in their mid 70s or so, or late 70s. And they were commenting about their ability to do stuff and what they're doing with working out. And someone's comment there was about the fact that they were told that they are too old to work out and they are too old to see changes or benefits, so they shouldn't even try it. And I got to tell you, my initial thought when I saw this is I was pretty pissed off, because my first question I wanted to ask is, who the fuck would say something like that to anybody? Why would you even go there? Because that's absolutely nothing could be further from the truth than that statement right there. And so I wanted to kind of come on and really talk to you guys out there that may be experiencing this. If you think, oh, I'm in my 40s or in my 50s or my 60s or my 70s or even 80s and I'm too old to do any of this, you're not even remotely close. That is bullshit. There's absolutely nothing except your desire that prevents you from being able to start and doing something right now. I don't care what condition you're in. If you can stand and walk, you can actually work out and do things and get yourself stronger, better, faster than anywhere else. And even if you have a condition where you couldn't quote unquote stand up and walk, but you're still functional, you can still do things to improve your strength and make you better overall in everything that you do. And so it's important for me to really come in and share this with everyone today, because I want to show you that there's more and more and more examples of this all around. I think of all the people that I work with, for example. I think of someone like Terry and Peter, a couple that came to me a while ago. They were in their mid 60s when they started, and their only reason for showing up to try to work out was because their daughter was about to get married in a few months, and husband to be and their whole family was in excellent shape because they were CrossFitters and they were doing all these things, and exercise was a big part of their lives. And unfortunately, that couple, mine, they weren't in the best shape of all. Peter had probably 50, 60 pounds overweight, maybe more. Terry was also there as well. And so they really needed to be able to get themselves looking better than where they wanted to be. Their whole goal and plan was to work out just to look good enough to be able to fit in that sleeveless dress that Terry wanted to go in, and for Peter to look pretty decent in his, outfit when he got started. That was it. There was no other goal in mind. There was no thinking about, I'm going to do this long term. There was no thinking about, this is going to be a lifestyle. This is just simply, we need to do this so we can look better for the wedding. Well, we got them in unbelievable shape for the wedding. And they felt so good about where they were, how they felt in their bodies. They were felt better than they did 20, 30 years ago. And they commented on that. So when they came back from the wedding, the very first thing they did was reach out to me and say, hey, we don't want to stop. Is it okay if we continue? And of course, my response was, of course, that's exactly what I expected, you guys. Fast forward now, it's almost 9 years since we've been working together. And if you talk to them, they have absolutely no intention of stopping. Peter's answer, when you ask him if this is something he's going to stop anytime soon, he'll tell you when he's in the box is when he's going to stop. Until then, he's going to show up and actually train and do all the things that we need to do. Now, what's so cool about this, and I'm so thankful for him for that, is that they know what to do. They know how to do it because they've learned it. They've spent years working with me. They know all the tricks, all the ins and outs, all the whatevers. But yet they still choose to show up here and work out with us instead, because they feel something that they don't think they could get on their own. And I appreciate them, and I appreciate the trust that they're putting in me for that, because Peter's always comments is that I'm making sure that he never does anything wrong. His saying, if you guys know who he is, he'll tell you this, right? Everything he does, there's a 50-50 chance that he's going to get it right or that he could totally screw it up. So when he comes here, he's guaranteed that he's always going to get things right, because I'm not going to let him do it the other way around. So he keeps showing up for that. But that's so cool that in his mid 70s now, the idea of stopping never crossed his mind. But Even better, he's in better shape than he's been at any other time in his life. And he will tell you this himself. That's a big, big deal. And I think of someone like Lowell. When he came here, he was in his late 70s, actually, when he started. And he was having some severe range of motion issues. He couldn't raise his arm past a certain point. He really had some very big restrictions in his body. He was experiencing a ton of scoliosis and other things happening with him. So it made it very difficult for him to function around the house. Getting into his cupboards was impossible for him unless he had a step ladder because he couldn't reach up to grab anything. Going under the cabinets to get stuff was really difficult because getting down and getting back up was tough. That was work. So it was making living alone becoming more and more and more difficult. Fast forward now, Lowell is 80 years old and he lives better. He lives alone and he's had a better lifestyle than he's had over the last 20 plus years. He'll tell you that he doesn't need a step ladder to get up into his cupboards. He can do anything he wants to do. Getting down and back up is a non issue. He's physically able to do so many more things than he could before. And man, you should see the ripples and the muscles on this guy. It is incredible how ripped he is for being 80 years old, which is quote unquote not supposed to be possible, according to what some people are saying out there. Again, I call bullshit on that because I get to see it daily and daily and daily. So yeah, when you see all these examples of these wonderful people doing these things, you know that anything and everything is possible. Here's the thing, guys. There are environments out there, unfortunately, that are not going to support your desire to be better, your desire to change and improve yourself. Because by you doing this, all the people around you is going to highlight to them what they're not doing to get better because maybe they don't have the desire to do that themselves. So instead of them being supportive of you, they'll probably tell you things to try to prevent you from going forward and being better. Now, some of it might be done under the guise of, I care about you and I want to protect you because I want to make sure you don't get hurt. Here's the fact: the weaker you are, the easier it is for you to get hurt. The stronger you are, the harder it is for anything bad to happen to you. So, the best thing you could do for yourself is to start a training program, is to start a regiment that's going to encourage you to get in positions where you have to develop strength in order for you to be better. That is by far the absolute best thing you can do for your longevity, for your quality of life, and for anything and everything that you want to have out there. So to think that someone can tell you that doing that isn't good doesn't make any sense. I think of someone like Lynn, who when she came here was in her early 60s, right? And the thing that she was looking at is her whole desire was to be able to get into an RV and go cross country on her own, right? In order to do that, she needed to be strong enough to be able to operate anything and everything in that RV. She needed to be able to be strong enough to get in and out without struggling, basically, and doing all those things. And at the time, that was a problem for her. She didn't have the strength. We started working together. And here it is, what, 5, 6, 7 years later? I don't even know how long it's been now. Lynn is ridiculously strong. She can do things that in her mind were impossible for someone like her to do years ago. But now she does them with ease. And there are more and more and more things that she's taken on. So, as far as the strength is concerned, she definitely has what she needs to be able to make the trip happen and go anywhere and do anything and live the lifestyle that she wants, which is the whole reason for starting something like this, right? Which is the whole reason for training and working out, is to put yourself in a situation where the life that you want to have doesn't have to just live in your mind. The life that you want to have doesn't have to live and exist in the past. It can happen right now. So if you used to be active and you used to be in shape, or you were an athlete when you were younger, and now the years have passed and you no longer find yourself capable of doing those things, you don't have to give up on the idea that you can get back there again. We can totally help you do that. There are so many things you can do that can help you improve everything. And it's not as difficult as you think. And no, it doesn't require you to lift 10 million pounds of weights all the time to do that. And no, it doesn't require you to go to the gym 5, 6 days a week and work out like a monster for hours on at a time to do this. What I ask everyone is simply this: can you give me 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week? If you can do that, and you can do that consistently, I can change your life in ways that you never even believed could be possible. It is that simple. It requires you to learn things differently. It requires you to move differently. It requires you to make connections in your bodies that you didn't know existed or were possible before. But I promise you, it is absolutely worth the effort of doing that, because once you do, you will be capable of doing things that right now may seem physically impossible. And that is such a cool thing to be in a position where you can do that. I look at someone like Arthur, who started here, 77 years old, right? He's been here for about a year, he's now 78. And when he came in, it was again struggling to just do things, just realizing that he's getting weaker because he's getting older. That's just part of the natural aging process. And in his mind, if I could just kind of maintain where I'm at and not decline, I'd be doing great. Ha! What's so exciting for him now is realizing how much stronger he is than before. He's capable of doing things that he's never thought possible for him, not now, but at any other age. So it's super exciting to see him pushing the boundaries and testing his strength and seeing what else he can do. He's got a spring in his step now that wasn't present before because, well, he can. He walks differently, he stands differently, he talks differently, he acts differently because he is different. He's no longer a weak little guy. He's strong. He can do things that weren't possible before. And that's something that every single person, especially if we're getting up there in age, needs to have. Because I promise you, the lifestyle that you think you could have is 1,000 times better than what you think it could be once you actually introduce the right program and the right things into the mix and get your body moving in the correct directions. I think of people that are battling different things, like Joe, with dealing with Parkinson's and thinking that his life was over because of it. And then coming here, learning how to reconnect things in his body and get muscles to fire like he couldn't before, and actually regaining the ability to be able to function properly, where he can paint a painting like the masterpiece he created for me in the gym and the other ones that he's working on right now, being commissioned to actually paint something that a painter who I don't remember the time frame and the length, but the one thing I know about this particular painter is that right after he finished those two paintings, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's and within a year committed suicide because he didn't see himself being able to continue living because he couldn't paint and do what he did anymore. And then to find out that Joe, a painter as well, right? Same artist, diagnosed with Parkinson's, comes here 5 months after the diagnosis and thinking that his life was over and he'd had to stop and give up everything that he was doing before, was now capable of creating a masterpiece like he did for me. And now he's back and he's been commissioned to repaint those two paintings from that painter. I think that's such a fantastic thing, right? The idea that becoming stronger, developing all the things that he needed to, has put him in a position now where he can do something that's absolutely a dream for him in his life. I think about stories like that. And I think about all these people and all the examples of them that I see on a daily basis. And I think about that comment that was made. And I'm like, man, if people only knew. And it's such a shame because I want it to be known. I want us to realize that. And for our age group, getting older doesn't mean a death sentence. Getting older doesn't mean being relegated to the corner and having to just live out your days and waiting to die. Getting older simply means that you're putting more time on your ears, more time on the table, but your abilities to be able to do are still the same or better than they used to be. So for those of you that used to be athletes, you want to get back to where you were, we got you covered. We can definitely get you back there and then some. But for those of you that have never attempted it, that never thought yourselves as athletic, or I can't do this, or I can't work out, or I can't whatever, man, I'm here to tell you that you have no idea how good it can be for you, right? Just imagine being capable of waking up and not having that pain and aches every day, or just you don't have to spend that couple minutes sitting by the side of the bed waiting for everything to start flowing so you can move without pain, right? If you don't have to do that every day, how cool would that be? Being able to get up and go play with your grandchildren and not worrying about being able to get down and get back up if you did, right? Or being able to go out and do your grocery shopping and not worrying about anybody coming and helping you carry them to the car because you can't do it on your own, or just being able to go anywhere and whatever activities are going on, you just simply participate without everyone have to make it any special access for you or kind of like give you that extra help or whatever. Just really truly becoming independent again, regaining that strength and ability that you may or may not have ever had before, getting to yourself to the position where lifestyle is just cool. You can go anywhere, you can try things that you haven't tried before. Maybe you've always wanted to ride that bicycle but are afraid of falling, right? Because man, if you fall right now, what would happen? God forbid, you could break bones. But imagine being able to reverse everything, right? Instead of dealing with osteoporosis or instead of dealing with brittle bones and things being weaker, you can now literally have the bone structure of a 20 or 30-year-old because you've built muscular strength, because you've actually added more muscle mass to your skeletal body, right? That's such a big, big deal that can really, truly change everything for you. Now you can go take that bike ride and not be afraid of falling because you just bounce and come right back up. right? You won't have to be like Humpty Dumpty and fall apart in million little pieces. I know I'm making a joke of this here, but there's a point that I'm making here is that there's so much that we can do, so much better we can get just by simply taking action, putting ourselves in the right environment, getting the right support, and then doing the right things to connect the body in ways that we never have before. That I promise you will give you a lifestyle that is beyond anything you could have imagined prior to. It is such a cool position to be in, and I want that for you guys. So don't get caught up and sucked into this idea that you can't be what you want to be. You can't do more. You can't start something because you're older. That is a bunch of crap. I have so many people here that you can come here and meet in person, or you can go on the website and check them out and look at their stories and see what they've accomplished and see that this idea, that's a bunch of buoy that's being sold by everyone because they want to keep you sick and they want to keep you less than and they want to keep you incapable of doing forward or doing for yourself. And I'm telling you that that independence that you want to have, you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely have that. You can absolutely go places and do things that you've always wanted to do without worrying about what's going to happen to you and if you're going to have the ability to be able to support yourself and do that. So don't let someone steal your dream of being better. Don't let someone steal your ability for doing better for yourself because you can. You can lose the weight. It's not as difficult as you think. But even more important than losing the weight, because that's really not the answer, we can get strong. And I mean ridiculous strong. Strong enough where you can move your body in any way, shape, or form that you want. You can go and get in and out of any situation without worrying about being capable of it. Think about this for a second. And I know this may seem like, and please, I don't want this to come off any bad way, right? Because this is a genuine question. But what happens if you find yourself on the ground right now? Can you get up without assistance? Can you get up easily without fighting or grabbing or reaching for something or someone to help you up? I know that may sound like a silly question to some of you. You don't have any problems with dealing with that. But for some people, that could be a death sentence or damn near clear one. If you guys remembered a few podcasts back, I mentioned what the number one cause of death was for our age group, which shocked me, by the way, when I actually learned that, because I didn't realize that. It's not cancer, it's not all these other big diseases that are killing a whole bunch of people. It is actually falling and breaking a hip or anything below that hip. Crazy. So you can be one of those statistics if you choose, or you can choose to be different and do something to prevent that from ever happening to you. Not saying that you're never going to fall, but you should never have to worry about anything breaking because you did. That's the big difference in lifestyle. That's a big difference on whether or not a fall will take you out for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, or a fall will end your life. I would much rather it just have the, hey, I was down for a couple of days, but I'm back to normal and I can function versus the other way around, wouldn't you? Yeah, I think so too. So let us help. If you have questions about what to do or how to do, reach out, ask questions. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. The point is, guys, I want you to be successful in your journey of becoming a better version of you. I would love for you to let me help you with that, right? But if you choose not to and you want to do it on your own, ask me questions. I'll point you in the right directions. The whole point is you don't have to go it alone, but if you choose to, the support is still here for you to be able to do that. Reach out, ask the questions, start the conversation, find out what it is that we can do and how you can go about becoming the absolute best version of you that God created you to be. And let's go take advantage of that. Guys, thank you for listening to me today. I hope I helped really inspire you to go take action and be like John or be like Ralph and be like Lynn and be like all the others that have taken the steps towards making sure that as they get older, they don't get weaker. They get better and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I promise you, when you do that, your life will be the absolute best that you've ever experienced. And I want that for you. Thank you guys for listening. I love you all. Peace out.